So here I am today with Rick. Rick is a close friend of mine and coworker. I've always been really impressed with Rick. Rick is, in my experience, he's all about growth. He's always trying to improve himself. We've gone through a book study together on growth. And then everything in your life seems to represent growth. You're part of Toastmasters, which is very much growing your skills and improving yourself. He's been just all the volunteer work you've done with setting up things at your church to home plate and working with at-risk youth or I'm not sure, youth.
Yeah, it would be certainly youth in some sort of housing transition.
Okay.
And I can't imagine being a teenager and homeless. You know, that's what led me to help and support Home Plate. So
absolutely. Yeah. And then other areas of your life too. It seems like you're always going out with coffee with somebody, or you're getting together with somebody, and sometimes it's just to talk about life and get together and enjoy each other's company, and sometimes it's with a little more direction, with you trying to help somebody else out with maybe an area that they're struggling with or would like a little extra direction. So right. Everything that I've seen in Rick's life just seems to emulate growth and helping other people grow. So been really impressed. I've been excited about videoing Rick and getting some of his experiences and what he's about on video. So here we are, finally making it happen.
Awesome. I appreciate it. This is my favorite topic. It just is. And I appreciate the opportunity.
So I guess the first question that I have for you is, how do you define success?
To me, success is all about the individual, because we're so different. Every single one of us has our own unique set of skills and abilities and gifts and flaws which make us unique. And to me, some time ago, I took everything that's outside of me off the table. And I said, I'm not going to, or at least try. I'm going to try to not set my expectations based on another person's opinion or some outside influence, right? And I said, okay, my success, good or bad, whether I have great success or not, it's going to be based off my effort. So to me, success is when a person can give their all, and at the end of the day, just accept whatever consequence or how the chips fall. There's something that is very powerful when a person says, I gave it my all, even if they come up short. Success is when I give my all and I know I did everything I could.
Yeah. Awesome. So you had mentioned that as part of that is that you try not to let what other people think determine how your actions are or what it is that you do or how you feel.
It's tough.
Can you explain a little more about that and talk about maybe that journey or what steps you've taken to help?
Yeah. I don't know. For most of my adult life, I have been fighting this internal spirit I have that looks at the world a little differently than maybe my peers around me, depending on what career I was in or what I was doing at the time. I respect the people around me and the people I associate with. I respect them a ton and I value their opinion, but it got to a point where I was just quieting my own spirit if it was leading me in a different direction than maybe everyone else was thinking. I used to say, hey, well, I've got a different idea, and voice what that idea was, and I'd be shut down and to the point where I didn't trust it. And but I kept coming back to it, where whether it was right or wrong, there was still a very authentic energy about it that I determined some years ago that, okay, I'm not going to listen to other people. I'm going to create my own opinion, and I'm going to base it off my spirit. I still work well with others, we still accomplish a lot of stuff, but I'm going to trust the spirit and how it's guiding me in my life and allow that to blossom. I think that's one of our key things in life, is to allow our own unique spirit to come out however it comes out. Sometimes it's super scary that we take on stuff greater than we expect we can do. Other times it's like, for me, I enjoy being silly with my family and having fun and laughing. And sometimes it comes out to where I might be a little more embarrassed about my actions than what I lead on. But the reality is it's more important for me to be true to who I am than whatever you might think about me.
Yeah. Well, and certainly around work, we always appreciate your sense of humor. You bring a lightness to the work, and
it's
make
important
it
to
fun.
laugh. We have to laugh.
So, what are you looking to get out of life? Like, what is it that you want to achieve in life and get out of life?
I think that it's this journey of letting my spirit blossom. I say spirit, there's something I think unique in our heart of hearts that is important to develop and understand the connection, be aware of how it's communicating with you, be it an idea, a nudge, or whatever we sense. So I want to be an individual that is authentic, and I think that's how it shows. I want to be honest. I want great integrity. I find that, I want to be wise in how I lead this chapter of my life. I don't want to be the fool that I've been in the past. Make rash decisions, not really ask myself some good questions if I'm spending a lot of money or, knowing that I'm going to do something that's going to impact my relationships that I value. That's, I want to be wise about those decisions. So I set myself up in my future self in a way that I will benefit at the time when I reach whatever outcome or consequence from those decisions.
Nice. So this YouTube channel I'm creating is all about personal and professional growth. What are your ideas about what personal and professional growth looks like to you?
I think it's important that we understand which way we're facing in life, number one. Meaning, are we facing in the past? Are we facing just being present? Or are we facing for the future? I liken that point of view, if we're driving a car, we're looking out the windshield, are we looking out the windows, or are we stuck on the little rear view mirror of life? Because I think that influences a great deal of how we approach what we want to do with our life. Looking forward makes sense to me. We have opportunity there. We understand what's already happened to us. We've survived the worst days of our life and the best days, right up to this point. I want more best days than worst days. So I think growth, be it professional or personal, that we need to understand where we're going. And it doesn't have to be as cliche as setting a bunch of goals, though that's, I believe, part of it. I think, though, it's important that we understand where we want to go, both career and personally. In all those different areas of life, if we can chunk it down and say, as far as health goes, what kind of future do I want to have? Do I want to be independent and active and provide myself an opportunity to be or to experience things maybe I'll need to be fit for, or at least healthy? Then it starts today. Today is a direct influence on your health in the future. So if we take that a little bit seriously and say, what do I want to be tomorrow, and just build off that.
So somebody who is still kind of defining who they are and who they want to be, what would you say are some ways to kind of help with that, of establishing what that direction is, or what that looks like of them in the future?
Sure. There's some easy questions you can ask yourself, like I've always liked especially initially, to get your head around what do I want to become? What do I want to have? What do I want to do? The be, do, have questions. If you can write 10 things that you want to be in your life, be it a parent, spouse, a loyal friend, whatever your imagination is, your the only confines to that would be your body type. Whatever it is, you may want to be an NBA basketball player, but if you're 5'2", that's probably not going to be a realistic goal. But you may still be part of the NBA in some capacity. If you work for a team or something, if that's a passion of yours, that's still doable. You just maybe aren't that player because of just your physical limitations. So you take your physical limitations and say, okay, well, what do I want to be? What do I want to do? Do you want to dip your toes in the sand in Maui? Or do you want to learn how to fly an airplane? Or do you want to learn how to paint or be creative in some way? Those are important things to think about. And then have. What do you want to have? I'm not big into materialism, but there are certain things that I'm drawn to as far as like when I run, I like a good pair of running shoes. It makes my feet feel comfortable. And so if I spend some money, it's going to be in my shoes. I don't need a big house. I don't need some of the other fancier stuff that are out there in the world. But there are certain materialistic things that I'd like to have. And if you can answer those questions and do 10 answers for each one, be, do, and have, what you want to be, do, and have, boom, you've got 30 goals now.
So you mentioned what do you want to have, and had also mentioned, it's having material goods is not the end all be all, but there are certain things that you would like to go for as far as what you'd like to have. What kind of measuring stick do you use to determine what are the materialistic things that are going to benefit you, that are going to be helpful, that are going to contribute to your life versus those material things that are really inconsequential and are not going to add value to how you feel and who you are?
I tend to find that what I resonate towards, be it materialistic or even just purpose, other people benefit from it. Be it my family or my friends. An example would be I would love to have a cabin or a small house at the beach. I love the beach. And that was kind of like a dream of mine, is to, own some sort of vacation property at the beach. That may be something that I really appreciate in its own way, but I also know my family will benefit from it. My friends and the relationships I have will benefit from it. And that seems to be a common denominator when our dreams align with our spirit, that it's going to benefit not only yourself and your immediate circle of influence, but it's going to ripple out to other relationships that it's going to benefit more than just you. It's bigger than you.
Okay, so things that create connections.
Absolutely. Okay. The beach houses would be fantastic. That's one of my goals, and I'm not giving up on it. I just don't know exactly when. I just keep working hard and being aware and looking for opportunities. I think that's also something that is a life lesson, is to be looking for opportunities as opposed to just waiting for it to happen.
What type of things give you meaning in life?
I think meaning is found when I'm able to help somebody, even if it's within these four walls of my home. I think the meaning, when I'm able to use my gifts, my talent, and my effort in a way that lifts another person up, helps another person just being there for another person. I mean, there's a lot of meaning in relationships. I fully believe one of our primary purposes in life is in our relationships. There's a reason we have a circle of influence that we have. We need to be wise about it and encourage others in a way that they note the difference. We have so little encouragement out there. I just think of my kids, when they were younger, how much I focused on the chores not being done or the homework not being done. And as a parent, that maybe a lot of people struggle with that. But the influence you have as a parent is if you lift your child up before they go to school and just remind them how awesome they are, or how what you feel for them, how much you love them. They walk out that door feeling empowered, as opposed to, you forgot to take out the garbage yesterday, or whatever little things. Yes, they all need to get done, but I think that we have an opportunity to lift up. And there's a lot of meaning that can be found in life in just our relationships.
So, just recently, you discovered some bad news. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what's going on in your life right now?
Yeah, I guess 2 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago now, I had been battling for a few months a health issue. We thought it was diagnosed as one diagnosis that we were trying to manage in one way, and then I had a night of coughing and a difficult night of sleep. I was referred to the ER by my doctor at that time, and we found out, long story short, that I have small cell lung cancer and a mass in my right lung and some other masses hanging outside the lung. So that was rather a shock for me and my family, for how serious that is and how impactful that is. Yeah, that was something that to a degree came out of left field at this time in my life. I know the situation is very serious. I understand if I did nothing, my days are numbered. I think what it did more than anything is it identified that I'm not going to probably live as long as I thought I was going to. That's the reality of it. The true feeling I have is I have tremendous peace in my heart because of my faith. Jesus is everything to me, and that has gave me a point of view about this that allows me to be okay and feel this peace genuinely. It's not that I'm not going to fight. I'm going to fight. I'm going to do everything I possibly can. I think that's another purpose in life, is that we need to do our part, whatever that is for us. I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to go to chemo, and I'm going to, let my community around me, which has been just amazing. I think that shined a light on me about just sheer humanity, what it could be, right? What it could be. And, we all hope that we have a community around us that supports us, and through this process, I found over the last 14 days of just how beautiful that can look like, because I have a wonderful community around me that all they want to do is love on me and take care of me and make sure I'm doing okay, my wife's doing okay, my boys are doing okay. There's this level of concern that is selfless and impressive to me. humbling, super humbling, in a very honest and real way. I want to be the one to help, right? That's my personality. That's the character I want to have is I want to be the one that steps up and helps somebody in their time of need. To receive that, it just blows me away. It's pretty special.
Yeah. Well, I've certainly seen it where people are stepping up and helping you out and becoming invested into this process and into your life. And I don't know that there's necessarily a question at the end of this, but I think some of it I just want to say is that, Rick has poured so much into other people. I mean, you've gone out there and you've helped at all these organizations, and you go and have coffee with people to help them struggling with through whatever they're going through. And so what's happened now is this community that you've created. I mean, you've built these connections with people. You are a connections person, and you've built this with all of these people. And in turn now, it's a chance for them to turn around and say, let's come alongside you. Let's help out you. Let's just figure out what we can do to invest into what you're going through and come alongside. And so once again, I don't know that there's necessarily a question here.
Well, there's in reflection, okay? Because I've had some time to reflect, on my life and going, wow, what does this all mean, right? You wonder why. You wonder, but the reality is this is a consequence to my previous smoking, and I'd be a fool if I thought I could get away with it, right? I quit smoking 9 years ago, picked up running, became this amazing part of my life that, I wish I would have done it much earlier, but I didn't. Can't change the past. But when I think about it, when I consciously allowed my spirit to help guide my life, I started recognizing people that are either going to help me in life, support me in a very positive way, or they were a negative influence on my life, where they didn't, every time I talked to them, I would always walk away feeling down or depressed, or, there would be an influence in a very negative way. I may have loved them. They may have been part of my family, an uncle, a cousin, or whatever. But I made the conscious choice that I need to put myself in community with people that are at least trying to lift each other up, or trying to be a positive influence to those around them. And over time, that's my church. That's my work environment. That's my home. That's I part of my development. I joined Toastmasters because I knew this was public speaking and discussion was going to be part of my life forever, in a way that I want to have an impact in a very positive way. And so I know I did need to develop those skills. And I'm around these amazing people who are all trying to develop their own personal skills for one reason or another. So we're all in it together, and there's this community that is super positive. And over the last decade and a half, I look at this community that I've built around me, or at least I'm a part of. I feel blessed to be a part of it. That now they're lifting me up and my family, and it's pretty humbling and impressive. And then you add to the mix that I feel this disease. I don't feel the negativity about it that so many people do. I don't know why. I mean, again, it's part of why it's important for me to be who I am. And I'm just being truthful. This is who I am. I'm not trying to inspire other people or whatever. I just know that this is how I want to approach this. And it's not going to conquer me. I may die from it. I probably will, but it's not going to conquer me. or my attitude or how I approach today. And that's
I guess that's one of the things that I found so impressive is that it is not conquering you. In fact, in some ways, you seem to be taking the challenge and running with it and not letting it get you down. I think it's been impressive to me, and it's been impressive to other people that I've talked to, that you've always had a tremendous impact on people, but because of the way that you're dealing with the situation, your impact is only growing larger. Your influence.
It's all God. To me, it's just an opportunity, right? Every single day we get an opportunity to be who we're supposed to be, and when it comes through and it connects with those around you in a way that is inspiring or real, at the very least, real, then you can count yourself blessed to have that connection, because every time you do, you build a trust, you build a relationship, and at the end of the day, to me, that's why we're here, is for our relationships. And then I go, okay, what kind of relationships do I want to build? And that say, okay, I want to build relationships that are positive and lift up. So that's my approach to our relationships. We don't have to agree, right? At work, we often don't agree, but I respect and I care about you in a way that is real, that my character, what I can control, I'm going to do my best to always lift you up, because that's what I want, myself to be, is that kind of man that lifts people up.
And it shows more now than it ever has before.
Yeah.
So, why don't you explain some of the ways that people have invested into your experience and what you're going through right now? What are
okay, just besides my phone's blown up, right? All these texts I've received, and emails and communications. It draws my family closer, my brother and his family, my sister and her family, and some very dear family members. We have always been fortunate that we've gotten along in a very positive way. They're out of state, but now it's just like, this continual dialogue that's happening that is wonderful to see. At work, I'm blown away at my work. Learning.com has not only taken me under their wing to support and lift up and help. I walked back to work my first day back, and I had 1,000 cranes, the origami cranes, hanging in different strings all above my desk. So I had this beautiful display of effort and tedious work. 1,000 cranes, right? It's not. They had many people spent many hours folding these just for me. And that is something that is a challenge for me to grasp, because I don't know why, but I had always hoped to be the one to be able to do that for others, but then to receive it, and then people coming up at work, they're fantastic. They're just taking care of me, hugging me and loving on me and checking in on me. And, they put together a way to support me and my family when I go through chemo weeks. People are bringing meals, they're going to be my chemo buddy and sit with me. And I just value that time that I get to spend with them, even though, I'm being shot up with something that's going to destroy this cancer. Thankfully, I get to actually spend a chunk of time with these people that are trying to take care of me. But all I want to do is lift them up, and that's what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Now, as you went into this, you've been very upfront with people of where you're at, what's happening. very open with the situation, what caused the situation. You just kind of put it all out there. When other people have, and when they get to the situation, they draw it in and they become more secluded and they try to mask this from other people. Do you have any kind of speculations of what would be different from the support perspective and from if you would have been more reserved and more not as putting it all out there?
Sure. There's a quote that kind of drives a lot of my transparency, and that's from Mark Twain. And Mark Twain said, if you're honest all the time, you don't have to remember anything. And I kind of resonate with that. That's a really good idea. Integrity has always been important. That's the household I grew up in. That's my father. He instilled family and he instilled integrity to help let your integrity help guide you through your life. And honesty is a part of that. The transparency, what I have found for me is it breaks down the walls of trust or lack of trust in a way when I'm honest and I'm serious and I'm open, that cuts right through a lot of the other things in life that we put up walls and protect ourselves. We use to protect ourselves, we think, but we really don't build that connection in a way that is heartfelt. When we're vulnerable, which is a tough place to get to, because I can't make you appreciate that or to treat it with care when I'm vulnerable. But when you do, you deposit something in my trust account for you. And that's what I want to do is to do for you. I want to deposit that trust when you open up and you're vulnerable. I want to care for that vulnerability. Whether I agree with it or not, doesn't matter. I need to recognize when we're open and honest how important it is that we at least care for that vulnerability, because I want your trust. I value that. I think that's one of our greatest things we can give another human being.
I know when I've opened up to people and been vulnerable and let people know, recognized my faults or my situations that I'm going through or things that, a lot of people will mask, but when I open up to people, I find that a good majority of the people, most people seem like they will then in turn build that trust and want to open up to me. Every once in a while, I will find somebody who doesn't want to go down that, and they'll usually kind of stop the conversation if it does get too deep. Mm-hmm. Have you found that there's been people that have kind of, avoided to get too deep or avoided to?
Sure. I think we're all on a different journey. Okay, I mentioned earlier how unique and complicated being a human being is. And we're all in different parts of that journey of our life. Some people, I have found, don't realize that they can change how they think. By the time we hit high school, oftentimes we have this loop of negativity playing in our heads, whether we're not, skinny enough or we're not, this comparison trap that influences how we think. But people, they just roll with that unless they become curious about, gosh, how can I become more positive? Or how can I learn how to set goals? Or how can I grow, right? This is all about growth, right? That's the driving force in me, is I'm looking for a way to fulfill my potential. So that's me recognizing I don't set my potential. I only limit it if I choose to. So I try not to say no. I try to be wise about it, of course. But for an individual to say, "Oh, that's too deep for me," that's their prerogative. That's their that's where they're at in their journey. And I continue to remind them that they are greater than they know, and to explore what that means to them. I think we're all, we want to be successful. We want to have great relationships. We want to truly impress ourselves. And, wow, I didn't believe I could do that, and I did it. And we want those moments in life. But the reality is we often just wish for them. We don't go out and actively allow ourselves to be exposed to failure. That's a possibility, right? We don't try because we want to know either the complete outcome or we're not even going to do it, and that's not life. Life is, following that instinct, even though you may fail. But at the end of the day, you're going to come away knowing more than anything you could have ever just wished for. I respect another person's life for what it is. I will do my best to make it better if I can. Give them a thought that invokes possible action in their future. A lot of people are stuck in the past. That's where I see the bulk of it, and they're just stuck there. That's all. They don't recognize that. Wow, if they can move ahead if they want to. Sometimes that takes a lot of courage, and that's okay. That's okay. You just need to get baby steps.
Any last words about the cancer and what your experience has been?
I certainly have a profound respect for folks that are going through this. I recognize that kind of my attitude is I'm not being cavalier about it. It's very serious, and I respect their sadness about having to go through what they're going through. I'd love to comfort them if I can. But I'm going to do what I do best, and that's me. That's the only thing I do best is me. And I just try to be sensitive to how tough it is for a lot of folks. I feel very thankful for my just all my whole life, my positive attitude. I don't know why I got this portion, but I did. I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to try and be honest and respectful about it, and provide a point of view to folks that maybe don't have that, if that makes sense. I feel I've got it pretty good, even though it's a pretty tough disease. Encourage everyone to realize that they are much more than their circumstance or any experience they have today. All of those things are important and have led you to right here, right now. Do not sit on the sidelines of your life. Get in there. Don't be afraid to. Life's messy. It just is. Lose the expectations of having to achieve X by the age of X. It's great to have goals, but give yourself the grace to learn from falling down and trust more than anything yourself. The skills and the abilities and the gifts you have are going to carry you the rest of your life. And if you spend any time developing those gifts and skills and abilities, things you get joy out of, I think that I know you're going to build a circle of people around you that are going to love you and embrace and encourage you.
Well, thank you, Rick. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day,
Absolutely.
getting this out there. Once again, I admire everything you are about and what you represent, and that is evident in other people as well. Admire you and who you are, what you represent, and you've had a real impact on a lot of people. So looking to see how you continue to fight this cancer, and how you continue to grow, and how you continue to improve and invest into others. And I appreciate everything that you have done. And thank you again for being a part of my YouTube video. And
Absolutely. You know, I love talking about this, and we're it's not just one way, right? Because there's 7 billion ways to do things. You know, we're just one of them, but we're the only one that matter, right? You know, your own perspective. I appreciate your kind words, and don't feel like I deserve them, but the reality is you know, thanks. You know, I want, that's the kind of man that I want to be, and to see it actually happening. You know, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Just because, you know, pride is such an evil thing to me. I'm proud of my relationships and a lot of things in my life, just for the effort it takes to get them to where they are. But for the most part, you know, don't shine the light on me. You know, you shine the light on you, and that's what you're doing with your effort here. You're just trying to help people. You're bringing a perspective that is fantastic, because when we hear the right advice from the right person, it changes our life. And that's all you're trying to do. It's just to be that right person, giving that right advice. So I thank you.
Of course. I think one of the real common themes that I've seen throughout our conversation is be yourself, be who you are.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those things that I've also been working on quite a bit as I go along in my journey. So, and then keep fighting and keep moving on, keep pressing on, keep growing, keep investing into others, keep connecting. So, yep. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you joining us, and until next time.
Thanks.
For other great videos and resources, visit lifesurgeacademy.com. Don't forget to like this video if you got something out of it, and subscribe to this channel.